Oh, so the podcast is mostly audio, isn't it?
It's mostly audio, but
And that one is just for...
I have it on video as well.
Yeah.
Because I put it on YouTube.
Done for promo lah.
Yeah, for now. I put it on... It's actually just mostly YouTube.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. That's cool.
Then later on, once I get like maybe 10 out,
Right.
then I'll put it out on
just this a bit
Spotify.
can, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
please, you can.
Okay, this way better.
Yeah.
I can see you better.
Proximity,
Yeah.
effect and all that. Engineer
Proximity-
talk, you see?
Proximity effect helps me. I'll use it.
Yeah.
I got no problem.
Yeah. Yeah, but all these kind of broadcast mics, I think the way like from the RE20, the proximity doesn't... Actually, if you go closer,
Yeah.
it's not that...
Yeah, they gotten quite good at balancing that. Yeah. These are nice. Audio Technica got great range. There's a ribbon that they make, which I want to get. The four ribbon elements in a single capsule.
Yeah.
Bloody expensive.
That's... They have one unit.
Yes.
You like AV United, they're the
Yes.
distributor, right? They've been trying to push that to be
8,000 or something like that.
No, it's like 12 or 13K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's a single ribbon element which I use in Singapore. You know the tapestry you heard that day?
Tapestry.
The video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was on the timpanis.
Oh, okay.
The timpani and the solo, the horn player, Kenneth Lam. That one was also a
ribbon on
the
on
Audio
that.
Technica ribbon. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they lent us that one and a couple of mics for that event.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
show.
This is their new broadcast mic lah. So
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonder what
This
the-
is a new one, 2040. Yeah. So I was the
okay, what?
first one to I was the first one to buy.
Oh,
so
okay. It's a cardioid, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, it is, it is.
Cardio, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing much at the moment. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technical moment trouble. That's what engineers always get
I
together.
know.
Always
Can I
get
help it?
sidetracked.
Can I help it? Hey, what mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are mics are probably the one thing I will always look out for. I
Yeah.
hardly buy anything else anymore. Yeah, correct. But I went through
Very
this.
cool.
This is quite cool.
Oh, these are just some questions that general questions. Like
Alright,
it doesn't
alright.
have to be,
Yeah, because I'm not
yeah.
good at all this. I mean, I may a lot, but you may have to edit me. I'm sorry about that.
a minimal ethic. We keep everything in.
Okay. I hope you bleep stuff because I.
Oh no, yeah.
I can be a
It's not like a slick produced. As you can see, everything's super DIY.
But is it? It's not PG-13, is it? Because it might be R. This one.
No. It's
Okay.
YouTube, so it's okay. I think. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Great.
Thanks for coming on this, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
I
having
mean,
me.
I have to say, I'm a little bit nervous to speak with you
Wait, why lah?
because you were one of my former lecturers.
That was a long time ago.
And
I'm
then,
old.
I'm just I still look at myself as still a student till to this day.
Wow, I'm still a student too.
Yeah.
I look at people like Bruce Sweden and Al Schmidt and stuff like that, and I'm still learning from what they have done.
Yeah.
Put it that way, you know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and they're no longer around. That's far off. How far off I feel sometimes. Yeah. Yes.
And I don't know about you, but I somehow I feel like I'm actually so much more excited to learn new stuff nowadays as I go get older, because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm actually even more excited, enthusiastic and about learning different things and learning different stuff now compared to like even when I was a student back in college.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's not an unnatural thing. You know, it's actually. For some people, curiosity is like it's always driving them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean, I
yeah.
understand that really well. It still drives me today. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel this drive even so much more now than compared to people will say that, oh, if you're young you should be more curious, you should be hungry, and then when you're old you get a little bit more jaded. The stereotype.
That's also another saying.
Yeah, some people.
Yeah, youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah.
There's also that. But why suddenly? Is that are you more comfortable in your own skin now? More comfortable in your space now?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Wow.
So I can't really explain it.
Right.
But I, enjoy learning and enjoy talking. And one of the ways that I found that I can learn a lot of stuff is just through conversations like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's how I learn also.
So I mean, we in Malaysia, we're famous lah. We always like to lepak at the mama, lepak after the show, and all things with musicians and all. I mean, so far I've talked to mostly my peers.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly my peers, but some are younger. But my conversations are like on this podcast. I call it the MixChat. Anyway,
Yes, excellent.
So, it's keeping in theme with my brand lah. Mix boy, MixStream, mix everything. Yeah.
Good.
I might as well own it, man.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think that a lot of people need to understand. You have to create your own brand.
Yeah.
Represent something, be something. And there's an identifier there, right? I think you're doing the right thing, man. Excellent.
Yeah. So once again, man, I really have to say thank you for coming on board.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So maybe we can start by, maybe telling people who you are, who is Sunil Kumar.
Wow.
And where did you come from?
Who am I? I don't know. I'm still looking for myself. But I grew up in Johor Bahru. I was born there. I only moved to KL when I was about 19, almost 20 years old. I just finished my Form 6 and so on and so forth. Music was always something I wanted to do. But back then, there was no real audio engineering, no such thing. Music wasn't something that was actively it was either you are doctor, lawyer, engineer, that whole story. You know what I mean? And not because not because my parents didn't want. They just were not sure where this was headed and so on and so forth. So the music was always there. I learned a little bit of music on the keyboards, electron organs and stuff like that, but purely by ear. My sister had the formal training, but that didn't go very far with her. She obviously wasn't very interested. But when I came to KL and I did electronic engineering for a while, but in that time I really started to work, part time, as a roadie, as a crew, right? Yeah. And I really enjoyed the job. And at one point, my dad asked me, "So, what do you want to do?" So I said, "Okay, something. I think I want to do music." So I joined a studio, very small. I think it was probably one of the first few digital audio workstations ever in Malaysia. Spectral synthesis. This was, I think there were 2 or 3 studios like Betarax, all studios that don't exist anymore. Scat, Betarax, and this particular studio, the one studio. So we had one computer with spectral synthesis, and that's where I started basically really getting into it. And through there, and through the owner, Alan Pereira, I also got to the Instant Cafe Theatre. So I started doing production for Instant Cafe Theatre, doing their live sound and so on and so forth. So I do studio and live, and that became a thing with me.
I see.
I did not, there was no jurisdiction. Okay, studio, live. No, I just did both, and that's how I just progressed slowly into the audio engineering field. But I was always looking, curious, trying to find information. I'd read mix magazines, by stacks. I would read technical manuals, and a lot of the information was in between the lines. Nobody would tell you straight out what they were doing. But when you see that there's a few things some engineers did and a few things some people, you realize, oh, okay, so there's methods here and there. But I've always been technically capable. So reading technical stuff was not difficult for me. And so that's why I think it was slightly smoother for me,
right?
As I went through the thing. Then eventually from Instant Cafe, I went to being a freelance audio engineer. Then I got a really good gig. I got a couple of years at the Malaysian Philharmonic Orchestra. Yep. So that one, the Abbey Road engineers were there, we got good training.
Yep.
I did classical music training and also the Neve Capricorn mixer training.
Right.
Then from there, I went back to freelance. And then I was 14 years at a TV station doing non-audio stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that was a really, really good moment in my life.
Right, yeah. Can we mention the TV station?
Oh, sure, yeah. So I was part of the early team at 8TV with Ahmad Izam. Yeah. And it was a great time for TV.
Oh, yes.
Especially since we didn't know anything about TV. We knew nothing about TV. But we knew. Yeah. We knew I like to think we had taste, and we had an idea of, and I think in a way we all had a certain production, aesthetics, exactly, perfect word, aesthetics, right? So we knew when you know what kind of sound, what kind of chords work, right, and you have ability to see video, and you put the two together, you start to see, how things can work, how you can build emotion with the sound and the picture and so on and so forth. And that's how we basically just went ahead.
Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, 8TV was, I clearly remember it, of course,
awesome.
It's fresh. It was so fresh. It just looked so cool. Everything was vibrant about it. Everything from the content, the shows, the announcers, all the programs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like,
excellent moments. I remember the first, before we went fully live, we had 12-hour broadcasts of Rock the World, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that was our first test broadcast.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
Yeah. And I must say, I did learn a lot of TV production techniques from my peers. Michael Simon, and the TV3 people taught us a lot as well.
Right. Yeah.
But we brought our styling. We brought our styling to 8TV, and you got Malaysian Idol, you got 1 Million, you got So You Think You Can Dance, you had the Shout Awards.
Yes.
Oh, I miss those. Yeah.
Likewise. Yeah.
I know. I wish those times would come back. Yeah. But so that's where. So now I'm back. I left TV. I felt I needed to do my own thing. So now I have my own company, Creative Coalition. We do a lot of consulting, production design, training, masterclasses, stuff like that. Yeah. So I'm okay where I am right at this point.
Excellent. Yeah. So that means pretty much Creative Coalition was from right after you left.
Right after I left ATV.
So until that was what year again?
Oh, okay. 8TV. We all started off 8TV staff. Yeah. And then we became Primeworks Studios, which is all still under Media Prima.
Correct, yeah.
And then from Primeworks Studio, I went to Studio 8 for the last 2 years of my contract. And then, 13 years, I think 2017. Was it? Yeah.
So 2017. So it's like until now, 2022. About 6 years.
6 years, around there. It's a bit of a blur, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, man. The last 2 years were a little bit of a blur.
Last 2 years are crazy, man.
I know, yeah.
I struggled.
But I'll maybe talk a little bit more of what you have in store and what's next later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you just cycling back to, you were saying it was called, what was the DAW that you call again?
Oh, Spectral Synthesis.
Okay.
It was one of the earlier ones. I think just before Avid. Oh no, not even Avid.
Because before Pro Tools, it was Sound Designer, right?
Yes, before Sound Designer.
So it even predates Sound Designer.
Yeah, it was about the time when Sound Designer was also coming out. So they were sort of
Well, obviously, the Avid products, the one that prevail
I'm a Pro Tools user today, like big time. I'll record on various stuff. I always enter on Pro Tools for me to mix. Yeah, I'm just so fast. I'm faster with it now.
Yeah,
I know it so well.
Yeah. I mean, back then, what sort of capabilities do you have with that
Spectral?
Oh,
we didn't have many plugins. We had EQ, we had compression. Not a very good reverb, some delays and stuff like that. That's it. They were still reliant. They pretty much treated it as a digital multi-track recorder, with the ability to edit and so on and so forth. Yeah, but it wasn't like it's not as advanced as it is now. Yeah. Yeah, mixing in the box, I think at that point still wasn't such a big deal. People would still route everything back out after editing, back through a console, or even straight back to tape, and then mix it back again on the analog console.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But for that time, for small studios, for jingle studios, for post production, it's a godsend. You could clean up, edit, splice. Blink of an eye.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, this is new. This is new to me. For me, my earliest I can remember is Sound Designer and even that was Sound Designer 2. So
right. In fact, I did digital before I did analog. It took me many years later before I spliced tape.
Right. Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up in a studio environment. Right. I had most of so it was straight digital and then live. Later on, we kind of backtrack into analog and stuff like that. So that I don't know whether that helped. That was a different approach, but that was my story lah. That's mine. I'll stick to it.
Well, what was the delivery formats like? What was the format
Oh, we had DAT.
DAT. Oh yeah. I have a few still lying around.
I've got a whole bag of them, and some of them have some excellent stuff on them. I'm just afraid to play them. Some are not very good DAT tapes, so the moment I put them in a DAT player, they snapped.
Yeah.
But I managed to extract a few. Yeah, so I'm trying to see if there's some good material in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull it out now. Maybe make an NFT of them. But that's for another story.
That's another story. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, but yeah, man, the days of DAT. Wow.
Sure, DAT. Yeah, DAT was the main DAT and optical drives.
Yeah,
that was it.
Were there a lot of studios that worked with, let's say, ADAT, Elysis, ADAT?
Later on. Much later on. I remember working on ADAT and D88. Remember the Tascam ones?
DA8, then DA88.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Then I think ADAT also had ADAT XT.
That's right.
And all that onwards.
That's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was definitely an interesting transition. I was on the very tail end of, being studying in as a student in ICOM, the very tail end of the transition from analog to digital.
Right.
Yeah, that was, I think, in around 2000, 2001, that was when they first, at least in ICOM, that's when they first introduced the Pro Tools. They had Sound Designer on that little machine, that Mac computer machine there.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I also worked on the digital multi-track Dash, which is Sony. I think. Sony Dash, yes, which was in remember a studio called Digitron?
I don't. Yeah.
Okay. It's not even that. The building isn't even a studio anymore.
Yeah,
it's a warehouse now. But yeah, so they had what did they have? I think they had a
Sony 3348.
Yeah,
32.
32. I can't remember the desk. Otari. No. Sorry, I can't remember the desk.
Yeah,
that's how long it was.
Yup,
But Dave Andrews' album was recorded there. Yeah, under the influences, a lot of the instrumentation was recorded there.
Right.
On that thing, and then transferred to Pro Tools, and then we edited everything on Pro Tools.
Yeah. Well, there was briefly a stint where obviously you are still an educator now, right?
Yeah.
That's part of what you do.
Yes.
But there was that, when did you first get this? Because where, I sort of connected with you
is you mean the ICOM
as
days?
You were one of my lecturers, advanced recording techniques at ICOM.
Was it advanced recording?
I think it's advanced because I know that the basic one was Vishnu. Vishnu taught that.
Yes.
And then it was, then you were doing it advanced.
Right. So how did that come about? I think it was actually, I don't know if it was actually through Vishnu or not, but I know I was speaking to Ravi.
Ravi
and Irene.
Irene, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And I think at that time, I'll freely admit, I don't have any official sound engineering degree or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I have some certificates in electronics and so on and so forth, and a couple of certificates now for professional courses. But back then, it was okay to teach classes as an industry veteran or industry professional.
Yep.
Of course, later on, things got a little, I think Lembaga.
Nowadays,
nowadays you need certain things.
Correct,
so that's why I left that.
Yeah.
In fact, till today, I don't think a daily class is beneficial from me to the student or from me to the person. A master class over 2 or 3 days will do wonders, especially for those with a little bit experience already. Yeah, we can get a lot done in 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, for me, education is one of my passions that I'm really, really into as well.
Yes.
So obviously I would like to get your thoughts later on, right?
Yeah.
On how things have changed or how things have evolved that way.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just get down to some geeky,
Let's
questions
go.
that I have. What do I have on my list here? So, what's your, do you have a favorite piece of equipment? What would it be? Yeah.
I will qualify first to say that because I was born in the digital age, I don't want to have that argument anymore. I've never had it. I've never had the digital analog argument.
Yeah.
Like never. It hasn't even occurred to me. I just took the medium for what it was and I went with it. But I do appreciate a good microphone, a good microphone preamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Anything, if I can get the source right and I get it recorded well, after that, I can stay in the box till the end of the thing and I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, so a good microphone and a good microphone preamp. Yep, that's my...
Yeah. Because of all things equal, those are the ones which really have the biggest sonic...
That's the way I feel. You know, microphones are the paintbrush for me.
Yeah.
Right? The digital canvas is clean enough a canvas for me to do whatever I want. So I let it go. That's fine.
Likewise.
Yes.
I think that's really cool as well.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
So I collect microphones when I can afford them or I can find good ones. I don't bother with outboard anymore unless I get a good mic preamp and stuff.
Yeah. I came into, you were doing like a live recording of this it was this gospel live worship thing.
Okay.
You were recording it.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
don't know whether
man.
you call
I
it.
can't
You must be so
remember.
many gigs, you know.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I don't remember. So
Yeah.
many, yeah.
Yeah, I know. You I think you were doing the recording off to one side, and I remember.
Do you know which
showed
location
me.
it was? Where it was?
Wisma MCA, I think.
Okay. Now I
Dewan.
think I remember. Yes.
Yeah, I
There
remember
were
you were
two
showing
gigs in
yeah.
Wisma MCA. One was the Japanese saxophone player, and the other one was the gospel one. Yes,
Yeah.
correct. Yes. Oh yes. Okay.
I remember you were showing, because these are things which really I remember, like, you know.
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay. You know,
Sadao
this-
Watanabe was one, and the other one was the gospel one.
yeah.
Okay, now I remember. Thank you very much. Good Lord, that's like deep in the archive somewhere. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So again, that was again one of the first times I'm seeing, let's say, oh, this is like how live, you know,
Yes,
like a
yes,
live
yes,
recording,
yes.
or should we say something close to like live or location or
Yes.
broadcasting, lah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think.
Mm.
I think that. Do you remember what I was using?
So I remember you actually showed me. It was like the 8-channel PreSonus.
PreSonus
Digimax or something.
Yeah.
It was called Digimax then. Now it's called XMax, right?
Yes, I still have it. You know,
Yeah.
I still have it. Yeah, and it still works.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still have some gear, like old RME stuff, which is,
Ah.
even though it's mid 2000s, it still holds
Oh,
up
they're
to
great stuff. They're great stuff.
to this day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I threw away some of the M audio stuff. I threw away Focusrite, but I still got that Digi.
Mhm. Awesome, man.
8
yeah,
pre.
Yeah.
8 pre.
8 pre. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. There's some gear that really still holds up really well until this day, lah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's got enough connectivity today to still matter. So it's got BNC and it's got optical outputs.
Optical.
Yeah. So, and it was what? I think it was 96 kilo. No, hang on. I think it could go 96 kilos back then already.
Yeah.
It's just that nobody could, we didn't have the storage then.
Mhm.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Yeah. So let's move forward. Which you mentioned already. Obviously, you're on Pro Tools.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You mentioned Pro Tools
Yes.
is your DAW of choice.
Yes, for mixing and editing.
Mhm.
I don't record on it though. Especially, I still do a lot of live recordings.
Yeah.
Because I still do a lot of live shows, right? And nearly all those live shows have the potential to be live albums or a combination of live albums. As I work very closely with Jeremy Monteiro in Singapore and the Jazz Association in Singapore, so we record everything. And getting multi-track today is so much easier than it was back then.
Right. Yeah.
With Dante, Madi, it's just the signal's coming through the system already anyway.
Mhm.
One extra cable and you have a multi-track.
Yeah.
And I usually use Reaper to record everything because Reaper is so light.
Correct. I
It's
see.
so light, the computer is just laughing. You know what I mean? So it's, I've recorded continuously for 5-6 hours on Reaper with no issues. I've had Pro Tools like crap out on me a half an hour for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I will record on Reaper and I'll keep everything. Because a lot of stuff also goes to video later, so it's remixed and and then it's restriped the video at the very least. If not, it actually does turn out into an album.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
All the time. This is like almost like a weekly thing for me now.
How would you go out from the board? Usually via Maddie or Dante, lah.
Yes, correct. So The other good thing about multi-tracking every time you're working live is that after the band has left the sun, I do virtual sound check after that.
Yes.
I can dial in those gates, I can dial in those compressors and all those other things which you are very busy while the band is still on stage. You know,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah.
Very very little time to do that. So once they've left the stage, just give me another hour with those multi-tracks and I'm
You can like
yeah.
take everything up
Yes.
another notch.
Yes.
lah.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
That's so interesting that for me anyway, because I don't follow so much on the, when I kind of stopped following, keeping track of what the live sound is.
Right.
Now to come back into it, it's like, it's very, very daunting. Yeah. The very rare occasions where I will kind of step onto a live console, and it will take me a while to get used to it. But,
I can imagine. Yeah.
But interesting thing is how the world of studio and live now is the lines between is a lot more blurred.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a lot gray area now.
I mean, we're using wave plugins like it's a studio set.
Yeah.
You know. I don't use as much as some people do, because I think a lot of the times the time frame on which I'm doing the production doesn't give me a lot of time to experiment, right? Unless I'm on a tour.
Yeah.
Like I was on the Dato Siti Nurhaliza tour. So I had Waves plugins running on the system because we actually set everything up here in KL, did a couple of days of full sets rehearsals and stuff like that, recorded multi-tracks, fine-tune the mixers and so on and so forth, use some of the plugins to get some of the sounds we want.
Yeah.
So when we go on tour, it's just recall and then trying to get back the same canvas in which we establish that sound in the first place, which is tuning the sound system and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So the variable is more of the actual venue itself.
Correct. Correct. That's what touring more is. The work is done already.
Yep.
Now it's just making sure you get back the same tonal canvas that you started off with, which is a challenge because every venue is different. They all have their problems and their pros and cons and so on and so forth. But I think that the genre of the music you work with is also important. So I worked a lot with classical and jazz and pop, right? So the miking techniques for classical and jazz and stuff like that is still very studio in a way.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not just everything's not DI, plug in, right? So you're still working with mics and acoustical sources like pianos and horns and drums and double basses and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you still keep your studio chops that way.
You know how live almost looks like studio, and studio it's almost like live now.
Yeah.
Coming from the Cubase and Nuendo world, Nuendo live.
Right.
It's basically working on Nuendo. It's basically that.
Yes.
But is there there is obviously the temptation to
overproduce
things, right?
for sure.
Because now
can.
Yeah.
For sure. That's why I don't pull out the Waves plugins when I got no time. Because I'll be filling and a lot of things get left behind, so I don't bother.
Yeah.
But for the most part, a well-tuned sound system, proper miking technique, right? Good signal parts, good gain structure, put the fader up, a touch here, a touch there, and you have good sound already.
Yeah. Over process and
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. And if you need to bring some of that studio sound to your production, right? Especially in the pop and rock world, right?
Yeah.
There is still sequence.
Just bring your backing tracks.
Exactly. Yeah. Put those backing tracks up. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, sounds like a CD. Okay, move on. Yeah. Yes. No, I agree. Yeah. So there's so much more opportunity now to get good sound. Good equipment is so much more accessible now.
Yep.
Everything, even the basic simple mixers, digital mixers will give you so much more functionality than you ever had 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're doing a show, let's say a tour or something like that, what do you usually go to? What's on your rider? What would you request?
Well, somebody asked me that question in Singapore also a couple of months ago. Which mixer do you prefer? And when I said it doesn't matter as long as it's certain, it's like cannot be. Because I know my one engineer he won't go on the tour if it was not this mixer and stuff like that.
Okay.
So fine. I mean, I'm sure there are people like that, but I think on a general working I do like Digicos. I like the way they're laid out and stuff like that. I really love the sound of the Midases. Right? Remember the Midases, the analog Midases? They still have that that fat tone, at the input stage. Sound great.
Midas or Behringer now?
Oh, Midas. Okay. No. I know. But actually, the funny thing you said that.
Yeah.
So there's an M32 and an M32 and an X32, right? When you put the specs side by side, right, you will see there's some things in the Midas specs list is not in the Behringer list, and these are really important things. Like time and phase calibrated buses. They're not on the Behringer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you try to double bus stuff on the Behringer, you're gonna get phasing. If you don't get on the Midas. Yeah. That's a big deal, no?
Exactly.
But they look the same, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It looked the same, and from like a brief look, a glance at the specs,
correct.
They look the same.
That's right.
They say we use the same preamps. Yeah.
Probably. But there's a lot of tricks. A lot of tricks, engineering tricks, and I don't mean audio engineering tricks. A lot of design engineering tricks that help you keep the cost down, which you don't see. And only if you're sensitive to it and you're looking for certain functionality, you're going to realize that, this mixer is going to crap out first before this one does,
Right.
And I'm not even talking about like fader quality and knob quality and stuff like that. I'm talking about truncation of the digital word,
Yeah, the word length.
The word length, stuff like that, just to accommodate the dynamic range of, combining so many channels into one. You're going to find a lot more dynamic range in a Midas than you do on a... So,
interesting.
Stuff like
that. Good. It's a really good thing for people to be aware of. Yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot more under the hood than just price difference.
Sure. You pay for what you get.
It still rings true, lah.
It does.
So Digicos, you're comfortable with that, but
I love Yamahas too.
Yeah.
If anything, I've not had in my whole time mixing. I've never had a Yamaha hang on me.
Right. Okay.
Never. Not once.
Yeah.
Not once.
Shout out to Yamaha, wearing Yamaha.
Oh, okay.
Rocking Yamaha swag.
I think the Rivage is finally getting to where I would like the sound to be. I could always hear something about the Yamaha which bothered me, especially in the CLs and the MLs last time. But the Rivage is starting to really open up. I mean, unless you're talking about PM series, that's another level.
That's another level.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I like the way like the Midases and the Digicos are able to get a nice warmer sound, even at the cheaper mixers and so on and so forth.
Yeah. When you describe that, is that down to the preamps? Is it down to the internal buses? Or?
I think it's a combination of preamps into the way the processing inside can handle all those the bit stream from every single channel and try and combine it into a sound. How do I put it? There is I feel like there is a restriction of dynamic range as more and more channels are added in some digital mixers.
Right.
Yeah. And so they get harsher as they get louder, and this is not even at the sound system. This is just at just if you're wearing cans or whatever. You know what I mean? So, we tend to warm things up that way. I mean, it's stuff like this that basically the analog purists will say, see, I told you digital very harsh. And I mean, not necessarily, but you know, it is. It is a combination of the way it's designed,
Yeah. I mean, I think some people also put it this way: there's good analog. There's also bad analog. Same thing. There's also good digital and bad digital as well. Yeah, absolutely.
So in fact, knowing that, I would put like drum overheads, for example, on the Yamahas. I'd have a limiter with fast attack, fast release, just sitting at about like -9 dB from the top. You know what I mean? Because there's so many transients which the meters don't catch.
Yeah.
Right? And doesn't really add much to the sound. Right?
Yep.
But I do know by stopping that early on, I'm not going to be stressing the master bus or the other buses out early, giving me a little bit more transparent headroom for the other stuff as you go. So I tend to clean up a lot that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good thing as well. I think some people even talk about in ITB mixing.
Yes.
That's where even sometimes these kind of limiters play a role.
Yeah, sometimes they're so fast, even the meters don't catch them. But if you look at, if you do a waveform analysis, you realize they have been catching, 2 or 3 dB, 2 or 3 dB there, 2 or 3 dB here, as the peaks are very high.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And they're transparent. They're audibly transparent.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Transparent, but cumulative.
Cumulatively,
yeah.
yes, they stress the system out at the
exactly.
end. Yeah.
Digital mixers, which may work a little bit differently from and all those. Do you see a lot of that in where you work?
Well, there's a lot of there were a lot of soundcraft in the UK. Most of the jazz festivals in the UK end up being soundcraft, and I hadn't worked on soundcraft for many years. So, but I managed to download the offline software. Show, label all my channels, put in all my bass EQs and compressions. Just put them there, and then bring it to the show, and tell the engineer, "Hey, dude, I've got a show file here, but I've never used the soundcraft, physically before. Would you mind loading this and then helping me out, see where it's at?" And most times, they're cool.
Most of the times,
correct. So then I started like the soundcraft sound. They're not bad. Not bad. The VIC is very nice also. Also very nice.
The VI, of course, is the bigger brother. I've worked on the SI,
the
smaller
yes,
brother.
Correct.
And I think first time going to these, because they were like so different from, in terms of how they laid out with the Yamahas and also Digicos. So it's
correct.
I don't know whether it's accurate to say, but they were marketing to target it more towards the laypersons. The way, at least from the SI series the way that it's handled.
Maybe
it seem to make more sense to like a layperson, like in a church or
I'll tell you why.
Maybe
I think they were still trying to appeal to the guys who like to access knobs straight away. Without having to go layers after layers after layers after layers. You know what I mean? So you'd get like, if I'm not mistaken, you had access to ADQs straight away, in one strip. So they were still working like inline mixers of the old, you know what I mean, with a digital layer underneath.
Right.
Whereas like the Digicos and all that is like everything's like a single central panel like Yamahas or so. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. But it took me a while. The Esplanade in Singapore have in their recital hall, which is a very nice hall, also have a soundcraft in there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's a nice mixer.
Wow. Interesting, man. Yes. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of these latest developments seem to be coming from the live sound side. Studio always is,
actually, I think so. Yeah.
Because studio is kind of contented to kind of just go back to using the same things and the same gear, just new iterations of it.
Probably.
It seems to be it's like whatever the latest and the most advanced stuff seems to be coming from live.
Sure. But the quality of electronics and studio equipment versus the durability of live, I think those things need to be, it's a matter of engineering and budget.
Frustrates you at this moment with whatever setup that you have,
many people may be surprised, but I haven't used studio monitors in 10 years. I almost exclusively mix on headphones now.
Wow. Okay.
Because I travel a lot.
Yeah.
Right? I have some good equipment. I have like a couple of really good headphones. Sennheiser HD 600, 650s. I've got Neumann NDH20. I have a really good headphone preamp, the Cord. Which is very high quality, and everything's in the box, right? So my studio travels with me everywhere. So I'm not really frustrated. I think my frustration, if anything, is I would like to own something where I can, like a summing mixer, like a really high quality analog summing mixer, so I could mix everything in the box.
Right.
And then output like maybe 16 or 8 stereo sub mixers,
Yep.
and
then
sum that back in a thing. I always wanted to try that.
Yeah. That's a bit controversial. No, do you know Bobcats has got
Yes,
something? So he's got something to say about it.
Really?
Yeah. He says it's snake oil, according to Bobcats.
Yeah, possible. But I also know I can also hear the difference. Like if you record in a SSL 9000J or a studio mixer, with good pre's and good mics and stuff like that. There's a transparency to the sound which is, I don't quite know where it comes from, but it really does help. You know what I mean? So I wanted to try. I wanted to try one of those really high quality summing mixes, maybe with tube ends and stuff like that to see how it would sum. But for most part, no real frustration, JD. You know.
I think Bobcats' argument was specifically towards those summing mixers.
He may be. I'm not sure. I'm guessing. He may be. Yeah. So some people, they will just create a copper wire. It's just basically
straight wire.
Correct. It's just straight wires into something or the other, and But I'll tell you this. I have. So in live sound, we have FFT analyzers and so on and so forth, where we analyze the outgoing signal and the incoming signal to see what the differences are and stuff like that. And I've done FFT through some of my favorite plugins.
Yeah.
And for the most part, man, let me tell you, it's all just phase shifts and distortions that just coloring the sound which you like or don't like or whatever.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's just
more of color.
It's color.
It's
color. Yeah. But if you're trying to scientifically ask yourself, why does this EQ sound better than that EQ? There is no reasoning. But if you do a technical analysis like this by running it to FFT, you should realize that as you are moving frequencies and cuts and boosts, that there's phase shifts happening along the along those bandwidths, and you are adding certain distortion and stuff like that. But if it's pleasing to the ear, it's pleasing to the ear.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, but I always like to know the technicals, because one of the most important things for me is repeatability.
Right.
I cannot afford to, say, oh, yesterday good, today not good.
Because then that's leaving things to random chance.
I can't leave too many things to chance.
Yeah. And that's definitely not. It's a professional attitude to adopt, especially for live sound and broadcasts and tours.
Correct. I mean, they hire you for what you deliver, right? Not what you did last week. So I have this thing, probably a little too, it might be a little scary, but you're only as good as your last gig.
Oh, yeah. I hear that.
Yes.
It's exactly what Greg also says.
Yeah.
You're as good as your last gigs.
Yeah. You're only as good as your, exactly. Yeah. So that keeps me on my toes.
Yeah. That's kind of scary also. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I digress. Yeah, but frustrating, no not so much that Not so much that. No.
Interesting. Yeah, that you work mostly on exclusively on headphones.
Almost exclusively. I do check on the car. I do check on my monitors once in a while. But I like the closeness and the that super focus I get when I'm on headphones. Yeah. I can hear just about everything, even down to
it's definitely an increasingly popular method of monitoring nowadays. Okay. I mean, a lot of even the big engineers also have said that, because of traveling and or obviously the past 2 years of COVID, right? A lot of them have been mixing and working on headphones. So even some big names have transitioned to that as well.
You listen to enough good music on something you like, you develop that goalpost, you develop that baseline.
Yeah.
If you're constantly changing headphones, you're constantly moving rooms and whatever, it's very difficult to sound. But you got to listen to good stuff.
Yeah.
Before you like.
Sort of learn and develop what is expected to be good.
Yes, correct. On that particular medium. will take you a while to
Yeah.
to get accustomed to stuff like that. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. So for me, no issues. I work on those.
Yeah.
But I do like open backs.
Yeah.
I look at open backs, and I do like over ears, like the big ones over ears. Yes, I think they're more natural sounding.
Right. Yeah.
So that makes it easier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not had any opportunity to check out to use Sennheisers like
Okay.
HDs.
Okay.
The Neumanns, I've listened to them once
Okay.
as well. Yeah,
Okay.
again, it's really, really, really impressive lah. Last year I actually had a online interview, something like this,
Okay.
with Phil Tan. Yeah.
Filtered.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he also was saying that, he's using a lot of headphones now as well, because if he's traveling, even for someone, as highly with his credentials,
Right.
it's like using headphones. Yeah. Using a lot of headphones. He uses
So with
Sony MDRs.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't mix on NBS.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't.
They sound
Well,
weird, right?
no. Well, they're quite bright and shiny that you tend not to do much on the high end, and then So unless he likes that, I mean, I do. So I have a combination of looking at my meters. After I've done mixing, I just have a look at my frequency balance on my meters and say, okay, yep, I'm more or less where I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If I'm not, something's not right, then I go back and I check again. But
Right.
most times I'm okay. But you also got to understand your cans.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
some, like in my particular case, the super lows don't really go that super low, right? They're there. They're just barely felt. But if you actually make them loud enough to really feel, they're going to be way over the limit on that one.
Correct,
But my
yeah.
meters tell me otherwise. So I between the two, I'm sorted.
Yeah, it's a good meters and all that. It's a good visual feedback tool, lah.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Just double check just to make sure you don't get overexcited.
So to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you ever dabbled with all these are the newer the headphone modeling technologies? I mean, Waves has that.
Okay.
The NX head. Waves
Honestly, I don't
Active
jive with them. I have them all. I've got NX.
tried it?
I've got.
I mean, Slate has the VSX. Slate Digital
Yes.
has that.
What's the other one? The one the soundworks.
Reference.
reference.
Sound. Yeah.
Sound-
Sound. Yeah. Yeah.
I tried.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that there's it's a bit of a black arts, this one, right? If you look at the frequency response published, you'll see some headphones there's this boost in the low mids, then they got these really squiggly lines going up in the highs. Some have this huge spike at 8 kilohertz and then down back at 10 and so on and so forth, right? And the funny thing is that none of this seemed to really equate to good sound.
Yeah.
None of it.
Yeah.
None of it. You could line them all up, and this looks flatter than that and stuff like that. And for me, as I tried the various series, I finally settled on the HD 650s, and I'm using them without any of this whatchamacallits. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Again, I think it's setting the goalpost and stop shifting the goalpost.
So these things is mainly for users who don't have good acoustics at home or
everybody needs a USP,
Yeah.
a unique selling property that's different from the other person. You know what I mean? And sometimes numbers is a way to sell. Sometimes charts are a way to sell. Sometimes Dr. Dre uses it as a way to sell.
Oh boy, that one.
Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? So there's
Yeah.
so many ways to sell. I think an engineer needs to find one that works for him, right? That he's comfortable with, can work long hours with, right? It doesn't have the tendency to overcompensate for it, and listen to really good mixers and really good music and various genres of music on it for as long as it takes to settle down on that sound signature. Once you get the imprint in your head, right, you are able to work consistently on that medium. Yeah. It's the same for any studio, any speaker, anything.
Yeah. Whether headphones or actual monitors and all that.
That's right. Having said that, though, the disparity between speakers and headphones and live sound speakers have all started to blur now, reduce. There's less of a disparity between all three mediums. So my ears are accustomed to getting a certain sound, right, which I mix on say headphones. Now that same tracks were recorded live on a live sound system. So I tune my live sound system halfway between live and studio type frequency balance. Because for the most part, I am doing more than one job.
Yeah.
I am doing the live sound, I'm doing the multi-track recording. I'm probably also doing a live broadcast mix from my same mixer.
Yeah.
So I cannot be having way too much differences in all these mediums for it to work across all these mediums, you see? Yeah. So that's how I tune my live sound system with a sense of how I would work in the studio and just complete my job that way.
Yeah. Well, talking about headphones, mixing, both either studio and also live, do you do much work in surround?
Yes. In fact, I used to do surround a long time ago for live shows.
Yeah.
I would. Last week. Last week in Singapore, I insisted on having access to the surround speakers in the theater, along with the front of house arrays and stuff like that, and basically mix in surround.
Right.
So I can basically make a room as wide as I want to, or bring it down as intimate as I want to. In this case, it was jazz.
Yeah.
So for the fast songs, I would bring the reverbs down, the early reflections. I would adjust the early reflections. I have various settings I kept for certain songs. And then when it's slow song or solo piano, the room would just open up and bloom like a concert hall with like 3.5 seconds of reverb and stuff like that. So
right.
I've always been playing around with surround for a very, very, very long time. There are many shows where I've gone and put speakers up in the ceilings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
To
give me that depth, height.
Primarily, what do you put in the surrounds?
Okay, so if it's theater or if it's pop, I am able to move sounds around.
Yeah.
But with jazz and classical and ethnic stuff and all that, it's more for dimensioning of the space.
Right.
Not all spaces you go to were meant for music, for example, right? So if I have a chance to build a surround system, I would. I usually put stuff in the ceiling. I put stuff in the back of the hall, and stuff like that. So I've been working in surrounds for a long time.
Very, very cool. So obviously, for something more contemporary, you can be a little bit more adventurous, lah.
Sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. You can. Yeah. Again, it's got to fit the music. If it's contextually weird to have a sound coming from the back, no point.
Yeah. Or have for jazz, you have the thing flying in here.
It's like totally
okay,
doesn't work for the genre.
Yeah. What do you usually put up then if it's surround speakers?
Oh, I don't need a lot of low end. You just need good, real good quality mids and highs and stuff like that. So even like powered speakers like QSEs or even monitor speakers are good enough to go up there. Stuff like that. You don't read super high, quality speakers.
You have to like match exactly the specs of the main speakers and all that. Not really.
No. I'll do a really quick tuning just to make sure there are no massive spikes or whatever. But the most of the tonal quality that comes out of those speakers are done by me adjusting the various parameters you have on reverbs, like early reflections, pre-delays, late reflections, reverb time, stuff like that. You can do so much.
As long as you have a fairly neutral, clean, canvas, so to speak, lah.
Exactly, and not a lot of it is full range. Yeah. I sometimes roll off like 400 hertz and below from those speakers because I don't need them.
Right.
Don't need them. Yeah. So they don't have to work very hard, those speakers. But the dimensioning they provide is excellent. You know what I mean? Yeah. People don't even realize sometimes. They just don't realize that the speakers are there. Yeah. But you turn them off, then you really feel like something's missing.
Yeah. But I think with any kind of surround and immersive, you don't want to draw. You don't want the surround elements to pull attention away, pull focus away from what's happening on stage,
unless you do.
Unless you do, right. Unless
you do, then
is,
correct. And then if there's a reason for it, then you do for a creative reason or whatever reason. Yeah, that's cool. So I don't make a big deal out of it. If the content could do it and the budget allows it and there's time to do it, I will do it.
Yep.
Yeah. So the other thing with live sound, as opposed to studio, is that in the studio you're isolated. Once you have those tracks recorded, right? They don't interact anymore with themselves because they're already on tape. But in a live show, you still have the source of the original sound, especially in smaller rooms, right? So to me, it causes a lot of phase smearing. You got one arrival time, then you got another arrival time from the speakers, then you got the monitors flashing back, and now you've put surrounds and stuff like that. So you have to be very clear how you time align everything to make sure that at least the point of source is as clean as possible. Yeah. So that phase smearing really bothers me.
I see. Yeah. Of course, the degree of complexity increases when you talk about surround
Sure.
and all that.
Sure. And speaking of marketing things also, right? So now
the buzzword
is dimensional audio in live thing, right?
Atmos and all that.
Sure. Yeah. Lisa.
Talking about because just now you mentioned Greg and
yes.
Lisa.
So he's selling Lisa. Yeah. Good luck, man.
Who's selling Lisa?
It's Greg.
Oh,
Greg's in charge of Lisa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lisa pushing Lisa. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
He's someone that I really got to talk to because I he's one of I would say one of my main mentors as well.
Oh man, he's an excellent engineer.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh
no, I've not worked on Lisa, and there's another one for DNB which I can't remember what it's called. But no, I've not. I've worked in left, center, right surround systems, in theater systems where there is various outputs to various parts of the hall. That one, yes.
Yeah.
But usually in theater with sound effects, you can already route. You can already route your effects to the places you want them to go already. In production. So you basically have tracks and tracks and tracks, and you already put them in the tracks where you want them to be. So that's cool, quite cool. You can assign a sound effects to these outputs, and the moment you trigger them, they would have gone. Stage left or top of balcony or whatever.
Everything from studio work, live sound, aspect of either of those feels that one over the other. Studio, live, theater.
I would say I'm adverse to location recording. I'm not a big fan of like film recording, location recording, Foley. I think probably because there's not enough music in it. So I would say that if there's music in there, I'm in.
Right.
If there's no music in there, let's see how much the job was worth. I'd say that. I realized very quickly that it wasn't much fun for me. Post-production, location recording, not my thing. Scientific recordings and stuff for underwater marine studies and stuff like that. Okay, it's fun because it's new stuff to explore and learn and stuff like that. But no, not as a daily thing.
Yep. Back, just want to check with you.
Okay.
You worked on Aubrey Suwito's album, right? Malakasan?
Malakasan.
It's instrumental.
I know I worked on Home, the Christmas one, and I think Malakasan. Yes. Home. The album was Home, I think.
Oh, the album was Home. The track was called Malakasan. Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
My bad.
No worries. Yeah.
So that's the one. Malakasan was like the first track or title track or something.
I think so. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. Right. Do you have any memories of that? Because that was for me for local jazz albums. That's to this day is one of my favorites lah.
Oh wow, really?
I had a copy of it.
Tell Aubrey, I'll just with him this afternoon.
Yeah.
I'll let him know. Excellent.
Yeah, and obviously the track and the musicians that were on it, it's a star-studded affair lah. Yeah. Would you have any memories of working on that album?
I think Aubrey is an excellent arranger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Excellent is the word does not cut it.
Yeah, super.
It's beyond that. Yeah,
a lot of what he does mixes itself. Just as the music plays, you know what you want to do already.
You're right.
You know what you want to do. Clean up. You just you're trying to get a nice tight, cohesive sound. That comes from some amount of compression, some amount of cleaning up and stuff like that. For the most part, his arrangements already don't clash with each other. There's a time and place for everything, and then so it's that much I remember. A joy to mix that kind of stuff.
100%, man, 100% on that. And the revelation where, hey, arrangement is 2/3, or a good proportion of how the mix turns out. It's down to the
Absolutely.
arrangement and choice of sounds.
Absolutely. And as I work more and more with the big bands, right, with the arrangements that Jeremy and his arrangers do, you start to realize, right, how they stack things up and how they sometimes write across sections to get that color, right? So that even if there's a weak player or there's a strong player, it equalizes itself, it works itself out, you know. The pianos are not clashing with the, you know, the comps are not clashing with the guitars and so on and so forth. There's enough variation, enough space in the thing. It works so beautifully.
Yeah. But I wish, you know, that you know, bands or clients or newer artists or arrangers or producers would understand that. You know, because obviously there's so much, it's much more, being the job of a mixer, the mixing engineer has a lot more, you know, glamour, a lot more emphasis or focus is on that. But they got to understand that so much of it depends on what was given to us in the first place, right?
True. But also, I mean, as I was talking to Aubrey about it, we get so much vanilla recordings. Like you know, it's like a drum kit coming out of a certain studio can sound the same for every single track that comes out of it. You know what I mean? That there obviously is a lost art now in capturing subtle tones from a player or from for different songs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I don't see people spending enough time finding the sound before they start tracking. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
So I think that's becoming a bit of a lost art. And also, there's not enough time spent recording acoustic instruments anymore. Everything is just sample, plug in, jack in, DI in, and stuff like that. So much so you don't even realize, you know, that, you know, a saxophone will emit sounds this way for certain things, some will sound that way. You know, if you really look at how a piano produces sound, right? There's no one place to mic a piano because it's impossible. It's impossible.
It's one of the most, like, the pursuits. I think we talked about it, right? Your pursuits.
Yes. For me, you know, for me, the piano is the
like the holy grail of how to the instrument or what to record.
I spent a lot of time with that machine, with that instrument.
Do you remember where was it recorded? At Aubrey's studio?
Aubrey's studio, the drums were recorded in his studio. So was the bass. I think the piano though was one of his more expensive sampled pianos. I think so. Flutes, of course, were acoustic, vocals and stuff like that. Live strings and all in his studio. All in his studio.
Mix it, but you also recorded it, right?
Okay, so I don't have much time to track. So I would go in, all right, I would mic up the kit for that particular album tone that we want. And then his assistant would just do all the tracking and stuff like that.
I see.
Tricks as well. You know what I mean? We will tune a tom or a snare up or down depending on the track and so on and so forth.
It's one of my favorite local jazz albums to this day.
Oh, thank you. But actually, one of my favorite recordings, I listened to it today, is something Amir Yusuf and I did. It's called Aquarius. We only had a vocal booth. Right, we had a vocal booth, and then we recorded drums, bass. Basically, the whole band played live in the living room. So we recorded it there, and that's the album that is out now. I really like it. I listen to it now, and I don't recognize myself 20 years ago.
This album was when was this?
Oh man, this is. What am I, 55?
Aquarius,
What have been 30 years ago, I would think.
Wow, okay.
Close to, 25 years ago. Something like that, Consider those my blur years. Blur years. You know, I was still trying to find myself, find my sound. But I really like that album. I think the album turned out really well.
Right, yeah.
I envy that time in my life where there was still so much curiosity, just experimenting and doing and stuff like that. I don't know whether I can achieve that anymore. I don't know.
Okay.
But I really like the album.
Your proudest, I mean, you were definitely very proud of it.
I like that. I really like the sound of the album, the way it came together, the way we put it together and stuff like that. But that rawness was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, when we always look back at your own stuff, do you always listen back to your own mixes and your own
No,
work?
I try to move on as fast as possible. Yeah. I cannot help it. When I listen to stuff like, Al Schmidt has been recording big bands and stuff since
decades.
He
Yeah.
passed
The
away
last half
last year.
century.
Yeah, he passed away last year, 91, right? And you still realize you got so much to learn. You listen to one of my favorite albums of all time, like Q's Juke Joint, Bruce Sweden, also just passed away, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you say, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those kind of things just keep me driving forward. Yeah.
Al Schmidt, because you worked at Capital, right?
Yes.
I just read an article that Capital is closing.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's fake news or not. I read an article that they're closing.
Really? I don't think so,
Or something, yeah.
Maybe Capitol Records may be closing, but I don't know whether the studio, or maybe the studio is closing. I have no idea.
Yeah,
it's
I was quite sure it was.
I really thought studios were going to come back in a big way. I thought that before COVID, by the way, that people had enough solo working times. What do you call this, home studios thing was all great and fun, right? But we were coming to the point where people wanted to collaborate again. Big bands are going to come back again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. So I don't know if that's going to swing around again.
Obviously, a lot of things. I mean, I, for myself, have seen a lot of projects that come in definitely shift and swing so much towards that side of things. Things were being recorded at home, drums or program, everything is programmed and DI, and then, tracks get sent over.
Yes.
I mean, I saw that swing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think I was hoping it was going to come back. Just before COVID hit, I felt like people were tired of working alone.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe the pendulum swings one way and then hopefully it swings not too far off in one way. Hopefully it swings back.
Sure, maybe.
I think the whole collective corporate atmosphere of working together, a bunch of musicians working in the same room, it's just something that unless technology can sort of recreate that feeling, I think it's a poor substitute.
We tried it during COVID. Didn't quite work so well. Speaking of which, how was COVID for you, Well, because I do a variety of work.
Yep.
I think, it's not just the audio part. I also can direct multi-cameras. I can edit videos.
You did a lot of live streams.
I did a lot of live streams. I did a lot of live. I did a recording, multi-track, restripe again. I did some training online.
Yes. Remember you did the big band workshop.
Oh yeah, I did the big band workshop. Yes, correct. That was that. So there was I was occupied. I was pretty much occupied.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I took up flight school.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
wow.
just something extra to just.
Oh right, as long as you don't become the Harrison Ford of
no.
Malaysia, okay.
No, I'm just learning something new because I like the multitasking, the complexity of having to juggle a few things,
Wow, that is.
And flight is like that. So
that is awesome. What are you training on?
Well, there's a flight simulator in Subang run by a friend of mine. It's it's an A320 flight simulator.
Oh, okay.
So I started training on that first, and then learning ground training and so on and so forth. And then I built a small one in my house, just a 3-monitor setup with full joystick and quadrants and everything.
Are you serious about getting a pilot's license?
I may want to do my PPL after at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So right now it's just
simulator first lah. Okay.
Simulator first, yeah. Okay
That is cool, man.
Something new.
Always something new. I mean, COVID also taught me new stuff as well.
Yeah.
I would never dabbled into video before this. I would
Oh, really?
I would okay. I would just leave video stuff to you handle it.
Oh no, what I think you're doing is great, man. Now.
Yeah. So I have never dabbled into video editing.
Excellent.
Or anything to do with visuals if it weren't for COVID, man.
Right.
And I feel that, that's cool. It's cool to learn new things.
It's definitely. I think I also had to pick up IP technology. because of all the streaming things.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I had to brush up my networking and stuff like that. Okay lah. You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, circle back. I have to mention, one more thing. Definitely, you mentioned all your experience with recording and your quest of finding the great piano sound. We've talked about this last time when we met up before. Before that as well. I have to mention to this that I've mentioned to you already, but I just want to mention it on the podcast also.
Okay.
You imparted one of the biggest lessons to me when it came to recording. Again, from the times that you from your classes lah.
Oh,
and I come
okay. You mentioned it. I know. Thank
about and I would argue this is probably the single, if not the most, it's going to be one of the single most important lessons that any audio engineer or anyone who's recording or mixing can take back, and that is how to listen to and how to listen with your ears to the instrument, to the source, and knowing where to place the microphone.
Right.
Yeah. I remember the lesson very, very clearly, because it was we were recording an acoustic guitar, and you showed us, and you like got down on your knees, and they were like, and you closed one ear, and then you're listening to where the spot, and you got all of us to try and go down and listen to, and to try and listen to where the sound maybe the sweet spot, so to speak. Where everything, the frequencies would sound the most balanced and all of that. And then to approximately place the microphone there. And then tweak whatever to say. So I think all of us in the class went out and did it, and then everyone just kind of just admitted and said, oh yeah, I can hear. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know I did, because as a student back then, I was like wondering, okay, what is this sweet spot? We know reading from textbook is always the standard position between 12, 14 fret, 6 inches away from there.
Right.
That's a textbook. But you, for what your class on that single one class that you did really opened up, how I
cool, man.
learned and heard things. And even though I didn't get it then, but later on I got it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you for
so much so much so now that if I'm recording an instrument here, I know how to walk around, listen to how the instrument sounds in the room, and then where to place the microphone based on that, and not just rely on the whatever is in the textbook lah.
Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
I mean, textbooks are just guides.
Yes,
right?
starting points are good.
But more importantly, I think, for an engineer,
mm-hmm.
they need to spend time with the instrument and listen to a variety of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Without some sort of an imprint in your brain,
mm-hmm.
right, to what a good violin should sound like, or what good piano should sound like,
or
what a jazz piano would sound different from a classical piano or a pop piano. Once you sort of have that color in your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what to chase for.
Mm.
Right? If you're blindly chasing for something, you don't know whether you're...
mm-hmm.
correct. Or you can, or if you're in the early years,
mm-hmm.
curiosity, experimenting is a great way to sound. But just like every other skill, you got to spend time with it. If your ears are your skill, then you got to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
There's the 10,000 hours cliche lah, but it's true lah. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Different genres will have different sonic imprints, right? Sonic, So then there's no point trying to get a rockish drum sound for a jazz show or stuff like that. But
I've been guilty of that.
Wow. Well,
jazz rock, jazz rock fusion.
That's fusion. can work also, but you will know from taste whether it's right or wrong thing.
Yeah, so incredibly valuable lesson for me, man. Yeah,
I'm glad you picked something up from me.
Thank you. It's a lesson I try to impart as well, To future.
I still do that till today.
Yeah.
Especially for something I don't know or I haven't heard it before. Why does that baritone saxophone sound so weird on the microphone?
Yeah.
right? I'd say, okay, guys, can you play it a bit softer? I want to listen around the instrument, see what's going on.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, I know what's going on now.
Yep.
Then I shift the micro position, and I more or less got the sound I want.
Yeah.
And then, but you can also tell
Mm-hmm.
if the instrument is being maximized, or maybe it's just a junior player. You know, those kind of things, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
yeah, instead of trying to figure out why, you know, as I said, you have to be repeatability is important. You need to know zoning on this on the thing immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it. Yeah, I find it very useful. For me, I also find this very useful if I'm dealing with an unfamiliar instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Just go around. You gotta listen to it.
See, like, you got something over me in the sense that you know how to get those rock guitar tones and distortion tones, right? Which are a little bit out of my depth now because I've stopped. I haven't worked with electric guitar since heavy rock stuff. Yeah. So I'm not sure if I can remember what a Mesa Boogie would sound next to a Marshall. I don't think I can't remember now, you know what I mean? I'm trying to access it, but I can't quite figure it. But I can sure as hell access a jazz piano over a classical piano right now.
Right, exactly.
So these are all
the
sonic imprints in your head.
Yeah, that's an important lesson to take too. Like, you need to have that sonic imprint and what to chase for.
Yes.
I think you've really emphasized and reiterated that.
On top of that, it's just experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, we'll wrap this up.
Sure.
What's in store next for Sunil Kumar? What's next? What's in store next for Creative Coalition? Anything interesting? Anything new that you want to share, or what you're working on?
I've got a lot of live recordings and jazz concerts coming up in Singapore.
Yeah.
I'm working on the Borneo Jazz Festival also right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also right now trying to look at my own projects and stuff like that, you know. So so at the moment, I'm not too sure. I think we're just coming out of COVID. So it's just getting back on our feet again. Looking to see where the not see where the market will go, but where the energy is moving to right now. Just not enough. There's not enough energy in KL, in Malaysia right now.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that we stabilize as a country, because right now the arts, the music, whatever, it's far from everybody's minds. You know.
Yeah.
It's not the most important thing right now.
Exactly.
Though it is important, but I think we don't have a history and of making it important even when times are bad, whereas other countries do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that can be a whole other
new
other
discussion.
Debate, and a whole other can of worms we can open. And
yes.
I think I know where that will lead us.
Yeah. So for now, I'm just building up towards for future plans and so on and so forth. I'm just right now just happy that the music is back, and work that I like is coming back, as opposed to work that's just paying the bills and
exactly.
So
I mean, for anyone who's an aspiring audio engineer or getting into a career in audio and music, I mean, you got any words of wisdom?
It might be a little controversial, but I'm always in competition globally. I'm not in competition locally. Right?
Yeah.
Not because I'm saying anything's bad locally. I just that the drive to be as good, in world class. That's what where I want to be, and I think the quality of work, right, is not there yet in Malaysia, right? So if you want to be world class, unfortunately, you need to go out of Malaysia. It doesn't matter even if you come back, whatever, but you want to be exposed to a lot of stuff. You have to go out there. Get out there, test your metal out there, right?
Yeah.
And then you know where you are.
Yeah.
I live here. I like it here. Family is here, right? But I enjoy working outside the country. I enjoy working in Singapore and Australia, UK, wherever it takes me. And I've done that enough to know that I can hold my own wherever I go. So that's my baseline right now.
Right.
So I think other engineers should do that too, if that is your ambition.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Definitely have that.
Yeah.
have that mind.
Yes.
It's good to have that
Yeah.
mindset.
I mean, not just for engineers, music producers, whatever. Just aim.
Yeah.
Aim for globally.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the very least,
Yeah.
how bad can it be? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's a global playing field. It's a global marketplace.
And
anyway,
now even more so, right?
Yeah.
Correct. But here's the reality of it, right?
Mhm.
The big concerts, right? The big acts, they don't sprout here,
Mhm.
right? You want to jump on a tour or you want to be working with the big acts, right? It's not here.
Mhm.
By the time the act is here already, they've filled up
All
the roster of
yeah.
everybody, the engineer, the lighting
Mhm.
guy, the blah blah blah. It's all done already.
Mhm.
By the time they come to Asia, it's all done.
Mhm.
So you got to go where the fountain is springing from.
Mhm.
And the fountain springs from other places
Yeah.
outside here,
Outside
outside Malaysia.
yeah.
Correct. So that's the reality that has to be said. Some people may not like it, but that's the reality. Especially if you want to work in genres which are
more
pop.
world,
more worldly,
more world,
correct.
global.
Exactly,
Yeah. Mhm.
exactly.
Mhm.
Right. That's one. Two.
Yeah.
No matter how rock and roll or experimental or just pure feeling you want to be,
Mm.
you got to know your technicals.
Mhm.
You have to,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be we were talking about just now being susceptible to all the variables and stuff like that. One day good, one day not good, and you don't know why. That's not acceptable from my mindset.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need to have as much control of my situation so that I can repeat
Mhm.
day in, day out, that this is who I am, this is what I made myself to be. And I think that's important. And a lot of it's in the books. A lot of it's in the books and a lot of it's in theory. Get that down, and then slowly the theory will fade from the front of your mind to the back of the mind. And next thing you know, you are actually being creative and you're being experimental and you're being everything you want to be.
Mhm.
But the technicals are backing you up all
It's
the
the
time.
it's the foundation,
foundation
the
for
scaffolding
everything.
that
Correct.
frees you to be
Correct.
creative.
Yeah, it's there. It's all there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Those are only two things I have to say to anybody wanting to get in the industry.
All
Everything
right.
else you'll find your way.
Period. Yeah. This is great advice, man. Thank you so
No,
much.
you're
Yeah.
most welcome.
It's advice that I'll take to heart, and hopefully whoever's listening to this also, right?
Okay,
Aspiring
I wouldn't bore
engineers,
anyone.
musicians, music producers, you got to take it from right the man. He's one of our living legends, and
No, I'm not that old. Give me a break, man.
yeah. Thank you so much, man.
You're
Yeah,
most
it's been an
welcome.
honor to talk to you.
Oh,
yeah.
honor's been mine. Thank
Hopefully
you.
we can do this again some other time on whenever there's new stuff
Sure.
to talk to.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Eddie.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sunil. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Hmm.